Time to check to see what's making headlines across Africa today. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta took the unprecedented step of handing power to his deputy. Kenyatta confirmed to Parliament that he plans to attend his International Criminal Court hearing on October 8th. The president faces charges of organizing ethnic massacres that killed some 1,200 people after the 2007 election. This is a charge that he denies. In South Africa, a British man accused of involvement in his wife's murder pleaded not guilty on Monday. The millionaire businessman allegedly hired local men to kill his wife in Cape Town while they were on their honeymoon. His trial finally began today after years of delays by an extradition process between South Africa and the UK. And South African President Jacob Zuma appointed a new governor of the country's Reserve Bank. Zuma praised outgoing bank governor Gil Marcus, whose term ends on November 8th. And the Across Africa report continues with the Rise News contributor, Frankie Edozien. Hey, Frankie.
Good evening, Debbie.
It's good to see you. How are you? We started the show talking about Ebola. Of course, it is a global crisis. But give us an update of what's happening in West Africa. And then there's a new case in Europe.
Yeah, so it was a really difficult weekend in Sierra Leone because on Saturday, 121 people died of Ebola, which was the deadliest they've had in one single day, with scores more people infected at that one time. Sierra Leone has been doing really badly with this, but so has Liberia, and all of the attention has been on Liberia because that's where the American boots on the ground now. But Sierra Leone, which has assistance from the British government and from other partners, suffered its deadliest casualty yet. And then what made matters worse this morning was that a few months ago, a Roman Catholic priest was evacuated from Sierra Leone back to Spain, to Madrid, where he's from, after he caught Ebola and was treated there. Now we have learned that one of the nurses that was actually treating him in Madrid has now been diagnosed with Ebola. This is the first case of an Ebola infection outside of West Africa. The person who has Ebola in Dallas actually brought it with him. In this particular case, it was a healthcare worker, and God bless healthcare workers for all they do, taking care of someone in Europe and still caught the Ebola virus. So the carnage is just going on and on and on.
Yeah, it takes a lot of vigilance in this case. Of course, we know that President Obama pledged support, including 3,000 military troops to go and help. Where are they now with instituting this pledge?
Yeah, so they are actually up to 4,000 now. And right now in Monrovia, they actually have cleared the way for the first tent, which is going to be the first actual hospital. They're supposed to do 17 of those, but they're now actually building the first military tent. We know the U.S. military is very good with logistics, and they've had some problems, but now, today, Monday, they're actually building that tent. The next issue will be, where are all the doctors going to staff that coming from? Because that's not the U.S. military's role.
Let me turn the corner, talk about something else before we run out of time. Sure. There's been some military successes against the Islamist extremist group Al-Shabaab.
Yes, in Somalia. It was a really good weekend. The African Union troops, who have been much maligned, but they have still stayed in Somalia. They have taken control of Barawe. Barawe is a coastal port city which has been Al-Shabaab's stronghold. It's been a really good stronghold for them because they've been able to not only control the waters, but get goods and fighters in and out of Somalia. African Union troops went in, Al-Shabaab fighters ran out. There was simply no bullet fired, no shots fired. Once the troops arrived this time around, the fighters, exhausted, had already left. So we'll see what happens. But Somalia slowly and steadily is going back to its own government, which is a very good news.
Yeah, I was going to say, for once, some good news in that regard.
Absolutely.
Some other very interesting news in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Police learning how to smile.
Yes, they have to.
Really?
Zimbabwe is really dependent on its tourism industry now. Many people go there to see the Great Victoria Falls. But one of the things that happens is when people are traveling around the country, they come in contact with police officers who are often very surly because of the economic situation there. So there's no smiling allowed. Not really no smiling allowed, but they just can't deal with all of the things they have to do for tourists. And so the government is saying we have to have a program that gets police officers to smile. Ordinary Zimbabweans are saying pay them more. The only thing that will make people
that makes
in
everybody
government smile is if they have a little money in their pockets. And so civil service, but particularly police officers who are dealing with tourists, are very unhappy. And so now we're going to have a Smile Police Officer program in Zimbabwe.
All right, so that's kind of funny, and this one seems to be funny to me as well. Namibian authorities ways banning unusual names.
Yes.
And you got to give us some examples of these names and how this is even coming about.
Well, so right now it's still a proposal, but one of the things that we know in West Africa and in all of African societies is naming. And in Namibia, apparently, if there is a dispute between father and mother, sometimes the father takes revenge on the mothers by giving the children names that are embarrassing. Things like shame on you, or I've been there already, not going back. And so a lot of the children who have no role in their parents' dispute grow up with these names because that's what their fathers have given them and that's what they have to.
They're just the innocent victim.
Exactly. And so one lawmaker is saying that there has to be a way to put a stop to this, and they're trying to do it by enacting law that says you cannot name your child an embarrassing name.
It seems to only make sense.
We'll see
Frankie
if it works.
Edozien, thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie.
See you next week.
All righty.
And you're watching Arise America.